Hello again, everyone. Welcome back to Eastern Shore Talk, your podcast for all things self care and movies. If this is your first time joining us, welcome. We're glad to have you. This is episode 71. I'm Jay Watson.
And I'm Cathy Castle.
And it seems like it's been a minute since Cathy and I've actually recorded, because it has. It's been a couple weeks because we pre recorded one episode before her vacation. So we're going to jump back into it today. And our topic today is going to be kind of a big, broad one. We're going to talk about how happiness is a choice, and I know that sounds kind of makes you want to do a side eye when you hear that at first, but we're going to kind of open that phrase up a little bit and talk about that. But as usual, the first thing we're going to do is do a little check in since we haven't really checked in for a little while. So, what anything exciting happened on your vacation?
I probably can't tell.
Just give me the legal version.
I mean, I made the decision to be on a large cruise ship with 4,000 people, and 6 of them are young adults with a all-you-can-drink package. That's all I'm going to say about that.
Oh. So you did a lot of babysitting adults.
Because then I'm thinking, are they going to fall off the side of the boat?
Yeah.
There are a couple nights when I went down to the old nightclub and I was like, to bed. To bed.
Yeah, go ahead.
But we had a really nice trip out of the cruise port in Manhattan. If anybody's thinking about doing that, it was easy as pie. It was so easy. Boat went out on a Sunday, came back on a Sunday. 0 traffic either way. It was very easy. Very easy. Went to the Lincoln Tunnel, went right to the cruise port, parked there, walked on. It was very nice. Went to my favorite Bermuda for 3 days and saw all my favorite people there.
Bootsy?
Saw Boots. Saw him. Yes. Saw Bootsy. And our other friend Maz, who owns a different restaurant bar there and has so I ate some good Bermudian food while I was there. I'm telling you, I love local culture and good food. So that was nice. Boat was nice. I wasn't ready for reality. I don't think I'm cut out to be a peasant. I think that I need someone to clean my room, make my food, serve me. I'm pretty sure at this point in my life, that would be happiness for me.
Because you've been doing that for so long that you like it when it's shoes on the other foot.
I came back in hot. I mean, we came in hot, literally, because I have a kid that totaled a car that got deemed total when I got back. Another child who just bought a new house, air conditioning went up, needs a new. I'm like, ugh. Can I go back on my ship? I'm just going to trade it all in and cruise. I'll do the podcast from the cruise ship. By the streaming package. But anyway.
The mobile
podcast. Good trip, but today was my first day back to work, and it was a very Monday, Tuesday, and I'm not ready for civilization yet. But I did buy my movie tickets for tomorrow night.
Okay. For tomorrow night? You're going during the middle of the week?
I had 2 kids that wanted to go, so I jumped in on it.
Probably not very many people going to go. That's probably a good thing.
Yeah.
For Wednesday night, yeah.
Because I can't probably do it this weekend. So.
You seeing the regular version or 3D?
I never see 3D.
Yeah, I'm the same way.
We're not a 3D family.
I'll give my thoughts on Superman at the end of this episode. Yeah, I don't want to spoil that.
And I can't give mine till next week. However.
Well, it'd be good because Chris will be on. Chris Moore's going to pop on next week with us, and
yeah,
I want to talk to him about that anyway because I got.
Maybe I'll bring Dylan on that one.
Yeah, I got some bones to pick with Hollywood on that whole deal, so I'll wait for Chris to do that whole thing.
You think they're going to listen to
you? You can give your review with Chris next week. That'd be, and maybe he's seen it too, so maybe he can talk about that. So that'd be good.
Yep.
So you were back to work today, and
back to work. Not that I don't love my people, but Phew.
It's not Bootsy and the Cruise.
No, palm trees,
Bootsy and the
turquoise.
Cruisers.
Bootsy and the Cruise. It's not palm trees and turquoise water and delicious fish.
Umbrella drinks and yeah,
So tough. So tough. Struggle is real.
yeah.
I love that cruising though. It's good stuff. All kidding aside, I mean, it for what you pay, if you get a cruise on a deal, and that's what we do. There's no way you could take that same vacation, with all the food that you have and the entertainment that's in front of you. Because, I mean, we watch Jay. You would have loved this. I thought about you on this trip because they had such good music acts. They have these. I don't even know if you call it house bands, but I'm
Just
just going to
cover
use
bands. Yeah,
that, right? But there was this one that we really liked that had two guys and two girls that were in it, and for most of the trip, they were in this thing called Sid something's Poorhouse. Anyway, it was a really cute. Had a stage and they had it purposely decorated. It wasn't that big in there. It had a bar and they performed shows. Like one night they did a rock show. Another night they had like a yacht rock, and another night they did a prom from the 80s. So you can imagine how
yeah.
I was like, yeah, yeah. And they'd walk around and they'd sing to you, so it was fun. But this same group went to the big theater one night and they did a Fleetwood Mac tribute. I told my kids I think they were better than Fleetwood Mac. They were so good. So good. And they told the story of the band and the
Yeah.
meaning behind the songs, and I kept thinking about you because you're such a music person too. And like one song that kept coming up that week for whatever reason. Oh, and then they had a dueling piano bar.
Mm.
Did you ever go to any of those?
Uh-uh.
Oh my gosh. We used to, in the early 90s, we used to go all the time down in Baltimore in the power plant. They had something called Little Ditties down there. And I remember in Miami when we'd visit friends, there was Howl at the Moon. Well, this was Howl at the Moon. So there's two piano players that are like, you want to go up to them and say, you should go and be on The Voice, like for real. You're so stinking good. But what you do is you write a request on a piece of paper, and the more money you put on there, they're going to sing it, right?
Right.
So, and some of it's just fun, sing along kind of stuff, like the Jimmy Buffett, salt, salt, but they sang like Shallow with Lady Gaga
Yeah.
and Bradley Cooper, and you're like, what? It was unbelievable. So we had fun with them each night, watching them. But anyway, a song that kept coming up is by Fleetwood Mac. Is that Silver Springs? Do
Yeah.
you know that song?
Yep.
Okay, so it wasn't on my top of my Fleetwood Mac list. I remember the chorus to it, but I didn't remember the song. So that was the last song they sang too for the Fleetwood Mac tribute, and the piano bar people were singing it, and I'm like, how did I miss this song on Fleetwood Mac? And I didn't realize that Stevie Nicks picked the name of that song driving through Maryland. So she
Huh.
named the song, but the story behind the song is really her and Lindsey Buckingham were
Yeah.
splitting up. So
Yeah.
you know
Which have a lot of the songs they yeah.
yeah. So
Those two were off and on for so long. Yeah.
I didn't know it had a Maryland connection, that song. So now I can't get that song out of my head. And then Dylan found a 1997 live video where those two are looking at each other, already broken up, singing that song, and he's all into it now. And it's just funny how this stuff just keeps a new generation loves the old music, right?
Yeah. What's
We could
funny,
probably do another show on
their album Rumors is still like
rumors.
one of the best selling
So
albums of all time. Yeah.
so Jay, that's what this was. It was a Rumors album tribute.
Oh yeah. Okay.
I called it Fleetwood Mac, and it was obviously just
They covered
Fleetwood.
it, and they've had that at the Avalon that I've loved. They did.
Really?
I saw Hotel California by the Eagles, and they did British Invasion um, Same band. They're I
Oh
forget what the
wow.
name of the band is, but that's what they do. They'll pick one album. Now they'll sing other songs from that group, but they'll
Yeah,
really concentrate on that album. So yeah, I enjoy that in general because Hotel California again, another one of those
it
iconic
is.
Eagles. I couldn't even name. Well, could name one other Eagles album besides Hotel California, but and same with Rumors. Other than that, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure there's
Oh,
plenty of.
and they another show they did was a tribute to the '90s, and I
Mm,
thought, whatever, whatever. It was. I was like, I forgot that's from the '90s. Like, it was so good. You knew every single song. You would
yeah,
have really enjoyed the entertainment on the boat,
yeah. I love a good cover band anyway,
right?
especially if they sat like I could close my eyes with that Eagles cover band, and you would swear
Right?
it was the Eagle. I mean, it was. I mean, all of it. The guitar solo at the end, all of it was perfect.
Well, the cool thing about these guys too was not only are they singing, but they're kind of putting on a show. That there's all the backdrops changed, their costumes, so it just upped it for me.
Yeah. So
Elton John tribute, you name it. It's all our
yeah,
It's the music of all of our times. They had a duo from Argentina that could sing anything. I mean, anything. And then one night, the guy in the duo says, "We get a request for this one song all the time, and I couldn't play it." He said, "So I just learned it a month ago." And I'm like, "Okay, right." This guy, they sing Freebird, and he shreds it. It's like, you don't just learn Freebird a month ago and play that guitar that insanely. I about fell over. Could not even believe it. Couldn't believe it.
huh.
Right? You just don't. If you think about Freebird, it's a
Yeah. Oh
long
yeah.
song, and that guitar in the end,
Yeah, because it starts off slow and builds, and then has the guitar. Yeah,
I'm like, who does that? Who can do that? Anyway, I was all into the music.
that's like the guy that took over for Steve Perry in Journey. The guy from the Philippines sounds just like
Those
Steve Perry.
Listen, those Filipinos can sing.
Yeah,
They can sing. There was a guy in one of my shows on this boat that sang just like Steve Perry. He did some Journey songs, and it's same thing. If you close your eyes, be like, "Gosh, Journey, do you know about this guy?"
yeah.
People are so talented. It's just amazing to me. But how do these dual and piano people do it? I mean, how many songs do you have in your head? And then you're playing the piano, they're playing the guitar, they're playing the electric guitar, like you're playing a drum. How do you just know a million songs and just spit them out?
It's people just have certain specific skills, and it's. I would have loved to have been able to learn an instrument, probably guitar, even if it was just acoustic guitar.
Yeah.
I think that would have been pretty cool.
And I'm like, how do you play the drums? Is it the same beats to every song? You're just
No,
going and then
it's much more to it than yeah. It's so much more to it than you think.
I'm
Um,
like, you just got a regular beat to
then you
most of the
think of
song.
somebody like Phil Collins who played the drums and sang.
They
Even
had a
Don Henley and the Eagles, he was a
listen,
drummer.
they had a Phil Collins tribute by a guy from the Philippines. They had it all. Man, it was like a
See,
music cruise.
you're probably still coming down from your entertainment high. You're still
I am. And this
on
is the first time anybody asked about
vacation
a
head.
car. Yeah. All right, I'll stop talking about mine.
That's all right. Um, yeah, so my check in is I've had a little bit of a difficult week this past week. And then we've talked about, or at least I've talked about a few times on the podcast how um, there have kind of been certain people and certain things that have come into my life at certain times that, as I look back now, I realize was God's grace putting these people and these things into my life at just the right time to kind of get me through that little small period of time, to help me kind of make it through to the next person or next thing. And all these people and things gave me a safety net to kind of until I kind of got my own feet underneath of me through my own healing journey. And I found out last week that one of these people that right in the middle of one of the tougher times of my struggle, who I had met, who was one of these people that kind of really made a good positive impact for the period of time that they were in my life, um, passed away. And I talked to you the other day, um, and it's hit me pretty hard.
Yeah.
This person unfortunately went down the road of addiction in their life, and unfortunately um, lost their battle, and that was contributed to their passing. Just not just the background of addiction, but the specific story of how she passed was, it was just tough. And um, I've kind of been on a roller coaster for a week or so.
Yeah.
I told you the other day, Kathy, it's kind of a little bit of guilt because you know she was one of those people that helped me get to where I am now. Honestly, she was a piece of that, and she's no longer here, and yet I get to live a blessed life and be in a good place because of her contribution to that. And it's been hard, but I kind of choose to, you know, shed my tears of gratitude because of where I am. And she wouldn't want me to feel guilty. Um, so I try to take that positive and, I'll go through periods of time where I'm sad, and then I'll have a period of time later on the day where I'll think back to happy times and funny stories, and
Yeah.
so it's kind of all over the place. And
Which is grief, right? It's wacky in and out like that.
yeah, it's just it's and I'm not one who you know I'm not really particularly close to anyone in my family, so I've not had a loss that's really been.
Yeah.
I mean, I've grieved to a degree people that I've known or people that in my family that have passed, but Um, there's just a deeper depth to this only because of the direct impact she had on my life that um, is just real, and it's painful, and yet again, like I said, it's there's a lot of gratitude for having had the time that I did with her, and um, what I took from that as part of my healing journey was important at a very difficult time for me, and that's how I will choose to remember her, not the person who um, the addict. I choose to remember the impactful person in my life. So yeah, it's been tough. Yeah, but it's life, and we all go through it. And um, I'm going to try to you know serve people in what we do here. In part in tribute to her, um, and because addiction was such a unfortunate part of her story. Yeah, and it's been a part of mine in a different way. Both my parents having been addicts, um, I used to have a very stern and unwavering view of addiction in general because of my childhood experiences. But it was learning that she was going through her battles and ha- learning to have grace for that really kind of switched my very um, stubborn views of addiction in general, and I've kind of um, it's still a horrible thing, and it's still far too prevalent, not just in this country, but all over the world. But having known her childhood traumas, I can that helped me to have the grace for understanding how someone can go down that path, and
Right.
it kind of makes me even more grateful that my path could have very easily been very similar to hers and many others because of my background, and mine wasn't very, and I'm blessed for that. So there's that whole, I've got that going around in my head. So there's, it kind of comes and goes, and yeah. So I thought I would share that because not only are there folks that um, maybe they have a loved one who's going through addiction, or maybe they've lost someone through addiction, and it's it doesn't lessen the loss that I have, but being able to just talk to you the other day about it and get the feelings out made all the difference in the world. Um, so again, like we talked about a couple episodes back, if you're going through stuff, whether it's grief, whether it's whatever you're going through, find someone, talk about it. It doesn't fix it. It's not a switch that fixes. It's not a fixer, but it's certainly part of it. It's part of the fix. Um, so
Find
yeah,
somebody to listen. And I'm glad that you're talking about it. You need to, and it might come up. It's not like, oh, I'm going to talk about it today and tomorrow, and I'm not going to talk about it because I'm all good. It comes up at weird times and for different reasons. And I think as you're talking about that, it makes me think about a lot of the. I'm by no means an expert in the field of addictions, although um, in my career it goes hand in hand a lot of times, um, but I have obviously spent a lot of time working in the suicide education and prevention space. And from working in that space, I've learned what it must be like in the head of somebody who has that thought. So therefore, I have more. What word did you use? Grace, maybe.
yeah,
More understanding, whatever. And as you're sitting here telling the story about your friend that had an addictions problem, I'm thinking, wow, it's kind of similar, right? Like it's easy for us to sit here and say, oh, they shouldn't do that. That's horrible. I wouldn't do that. Why would they do that to themselves? We did the same thing with suicide, right?
yeah,
But in a way, they're similar because they have so much pain in their brain, in their body, whatever, that something's taken a hold of them, and
yeah,
it's not really them. Something else is taking a hold of them, and their burdens are being you know masked or pushing them to that choice. And then here we are saying, gosh, I wish they would have picked another route, right? But I think that best we can do as friends and people that care about other people is do just what you did and try to understand it in a different way. We can't change what happened, but
yeah.
can understand maybe why it could have happened, and be thankful. Like your life could have gone very different. All of our lives could. Thankful for your life and how blessed you are, and just keep an open ear to anybody who needs us.
It's I had something right on the tip of my tongue and it then went away.
Addiction's
um,
tough. It's tough to understand. It's just so tough. And I mean, I have friends who have lost kids, you know, adult kids to addictions, and man, it's
I,
just
I,
a lot of hurt. It's a lot of
I
hurt.
know, I know with her specific case, and as you and I have talked about a lot, childhood trauma
Yeah,
specifically
yeah,
just gets carried so heavy, and you know any trauma, but there's kind of an extra thing when there's a childhood trauma, especially if if the source is family. Um,
yeah,
then you at least from my experience, and I'm sure I'm not the only one who has gone through a childhood family caused trauma that you know the very foundation you're supposed to count on without question is the source of your trauma. I mean that's so tough, and you there is no when you're literally a child, young adult, maybe even up into your 20s. There's not an answer for life stuff. The foundation that is supposed to have a taught you how to deal with these things in life, and b been there for you as your safety net as you're going through these things doesn't exist. So you end up, you know, running in bad circles and getting, trying to seeking out escapes and releases because you don't want to have to deal with the stuff that's going on in your head. And I can imagine that that's a a road to addiction. Not that they're all the same, but because it's different from substance to substance. But
Yeah.
um, yeah,
And relationships are complicated. They're so complicated. And I mean, how many times us doing this work that we're doing together, this collaborative that you and I are doing, which is not work with my day job. I mean, the you and I are dealing with normal everyday Joes and Janes, I'm gonna call
yeah,
them, right? Joes and Janes. And I've been actually stunned, maybe I shouldn't, stunned by the amount of things that happen in people's childhood. And you can call them a trauma, you can call them not a trauma, but I've been shocked at
what do they call
just
it? Aces.
there is the ACEs, which is a measurement tool on things that happen to you, whether it's poverty, your parents were addicted, what
Divorce.
a lot of
Yeah,
different
yep.
things that where you score on the ACEs, is an indicator of how
Adverse childhood experience.
experiences.
Something. Yeah,
But
yeah.
but again, and that might be a little bit too much for the
Too
normal
clinical.
Joe
Yeah,
and James, but again, I'm just surprised, and I don't care how old somebody is. I just think we need to pay attention to this. How many people have you and I talked to, and they're like, my mother and father are not here anymore, but there's something that happened that hurt them, or they really wanted that mother figure, that father figure, and that person never was that for them, or maybe their father was very critical, and that's how they remember that person, but they wish they were different. I mean, how many
yeah,
times have we heard story after story after story
yeah,
like that? And then, so just say you had the really critical father, for example, that didn't, say good game or was always putting somebody down in their mind. What happened to that guy that
yeah.
he was like that? This generational stuff that's passed on. It's just so complicated. But
Kathy, it's funny you say that because I've talked about that before. That understanding the things that specifically my mother went through in her childhood helped me to have grace and understand, and help me to be able to um, have forgiveness for her in order for me to be able to heal and move forward. Kind of, perpetuating generational kind of things. And yeah, it's
and
just,
there's no compass and there's no manual, right? It's
no,
like,
because really good parents is no guarantee that the kids are going
heck
to,
no.
and vice versa.
I
You
mean,
can
I
have
got
people that
four
are
of
not
them.
very good parents, and the kid turns out fantastic.
I got four of those people. It's like, what if I've messed them up? It depends on what age they are. They might say I
Right.
messed them up. It depends on where they are in life. But it's like, man, you got no compass. The compass is broken. It's just spinning, and the manual somebody threw it out. So you're doing the best you can, and not everybody has the same tools, and it's tough.
Yeah.
It's
But
tough.
that sounds like a good segue because it kind of all kind of
Yeah.
plays into the topic for tonight, which is
Da, da, da.
happiness is a choice. And I know, I'm sure, and
That
I didn't.
bothers me. That phrase bothers me. Go
I'm
ahead.
sure that when people read it, when I posted it, people gave me the side eye privately. And believe me, several years ago, when someone said that phrase to me, I scoffed at it and I was skeptical because when I heard it, it sounded like to me that they were saying you could wake up one day, flip a
Right.
switch, and be happy.
Yep.
As I've learned and grown and gotten further along in my process, I've learned that that's not at all what it means. It means that you have the choice to move towards happiness, to move away from whatever unhappiness or things that are not going the way you want them in your life. You have the choice to begin the process of getting to happy.
But I
Not that
think
it's a switch.
I don't think
Yes,
people understand that.
yes,
I have had my own adolescent children look at me and say, "You choose not to be happy." Like if I'm upset about, I mean, I am female and I do get upset and I do worry and I do whatever the things that we do as mothers and whatever. But and I've had my kids look at me, my male children, and say, "You choose not to be happy. That's you. You choose." And I'm like, ooh, like that's like a trigger for me. Trigger.
but
So
Kathy, when you were their age, you probably, and me too, would have thought the same exact thing. We didn't know any
I
better.
Yeah, but I did it behind the door. I didn't do it to their face. I
You
stuck my
raise
tongue
things
out
they
behind the door.
share their feelings, and then you get upset because they share their feelings.
Exactly. Do it behind the door. Stick your tongue out at me behind the door. Anyway, so what we want to do is break down that taboo line. Happiness is a choice. Because the way I look at that term is almost like if I say, Jay, happiness is a choice. You choose to be happy. I'm almost putting you down in a way.
Yeah.
Look at you. You choose the negative. You didn't choose the positive. You're at fault. That's how I read that term. And that's not what we're saying. That's why we're
No.
talking about it. We're going to break this down
Yeah.
because we don't want people to use it wrong,
It's a
right?
very broad, kind of incomplete. Ultimately, in the big, broad picture over time, yes, happiness is a choice. It's not a switch that you can turn off and on, it's not instantaneous. And I wrote this on my post. The happiest people you know didn't come by that overnight, they
No.
just didn't.
So
Um,
look, I got a definition of this. And if you're listening to our podcast, stay with us. Stay with us because I got some fun research facts. We're going to break this down a little bit. And we're going to tell you what you can do. So hang with us. Hang with us. So while the statement happiness is a choice is often used, we can agree that, right? It's more accurate to say that you can choose actions and behaviors. This is kind of what you said. You can choose actions and behaviors that increase the likelihood of experiencing happiness. You can directly choose to feel, you can't directly choose to feel happy, but you can choose to engage in activities and cultivate habits that promote positive emotions. That's a mouthful.
you can choose to begin the journey to happiness. Basically, yeah.
And I'm going to say, I love one of the best things Jay Watson has said in this whole history of our podcast
Of his
is
existence. Get to neutral.
it's neutral. I'm serious. That's one of the best things. That's one of the best advice you have given, besides talk, tell your story, whatever.
That's going to be my book. Get to
I
neutral.
like it. Get to neutral. I love it. I love it because it is, you can get there. It's not, oh my God, I'm here at rock bottom and I got to go so far up to get to happy. Or maybe I'm too happy and I need to get back down. I like neutral. I like it. I like to get to neutral. You can get to neutral. We see neutral. We understand neutral. There's no pressure at neutral, right? Either way.
Yeah.
So,
But I think, Kathy, we live in such a time where we want instant gratification, instant results. I call it the Ozempic era, where it's
yeah,
like, I want to be able to take a pill and be better in a
quick.
very short period of time. And sure, we would all love for that to be the reality of life, but it's just not. You didn't get unhappy instantaneously. It was a series of things over time that got you to where you're unhappy. So it just kind of makes common sense that the same is in reverse to
Now,
get happy.
let me say a couple other things here. Happy people, I like this line. Happy people are not held hostage by their circumstances, and they do not seek happiness in people or possessions. So that's an interesting statement,
Yep.
right?
Can't
Happy
control those
people
things. Yep.
aren't held hostage by circumstances. Okay, first of all, let me say this. I fail with this line. I am held hostage by circumstances. I'm a mother. I think everybody's going to die, right? There's a commercial out there for Life 360. I don't know if you've seen it. It's like a cartoon, and the mom's like, I just think you're going to die every time you get in the car. So that's my brain. I think every time they get in the car and I hear a siren, they're dead. That's hard. And then I don't know that I necessarily personally seek happiness in people because I know, I mean, I do need people to be happy. I really do. But I can also be alone and be happy. But
Yeah.
I do seek happiness in things.
Yeah.
I go on my cruise, I'm happy. I get off my cruise, I'm like, dang it. I go to the outlets and I buy an outfit, I'm happy until I'm not happy. So I'm very guilty of that. Possessions are, but it's short term, right? It's short term happiness.
And it's fool's gold. Now, Kathy, is
It
it?
is.
But here's the question: is it the actual items, or is it how they feel others are going to view them because they have those items?
I bought a new pair of pink shorts and I don't even like pink and this top and I thought I looked pretty good. I was happy. And I'm gonna wear it one more time and I'm still gonna be as happy as I was that first time. Then the third time I'm gonna be like, whatever, what's next?
I like what you said a minute ago, Kathy, about um, not held hostage by circumstances. Now, here's the thing:
Hard
what
not
do
to do it.
what do we tell? Going back to the trauma thing, and I've this is part of how I've in my healing journey, where we tell folks you are not your circumstances. We specifically talking about bad things, traumas, and unfortunate events. So it, yes, but it's also like if you win an award or you have an accomplishment, you are also not those things. You know what I mean? It goes for both good and the bad. Um, don't identify as those things. That's they say don't they're not held hostage by that.
Well, and another thing is, this article says, and I would agree with this, that a lot of us are chasing the world's definition of happiness, like
Yes,
what we see,
the
right?
world's approval. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Social media. What's happiness according to social media? Um, when you know,
yeah. When a bunch, we're happy when a bunch of strangers give us a thumbs up on Facebook.
yeah.
Yeah,
Well, I like though that there's I really enjoy reading and learning, and anybody could Google it. Positive psychology. It's a newer term in the ancient world of psychology, going back to Freud. But positive psychology is more of your newer aspects of it. But it's a very interesting subject matter to read up about. You know, um, which includes happiness, which includes how are people happy, how are people content. Um, like there's this article called "The Science of Happiness in Positive Psychology," um, and it says happiness is complex, subjective experience influenced by genetics, circumstances, personal mindset. It involves practices like gratitude, positive relationships, mindfulness. You hear our self care coming through, um, and they can in turn long term happiness and well being, um, and pursuing goals and meaning to contribute to our happy life. So it's work. Happiness is work.
yeah.
What I
And
go figure, right? It's not. There's no happy pill. There's no magic. Anything. It's work.
you and I the other day when we were talking about this topic, and we both brought up the fact that there are varying degrees of being unhappy and happiness. In other words, I kind of use the thing might just be having a bad day or just having a bad moment, and we talk about change your environment, change your surroundings, change your mindset. You could say, what's going on in this household is just it's too much. I need to go take a walk for 20 minutes.
I do that
You're
all the time.
you're
Did
you're,
last
you're that's you're moving towards happiness. You don't instantly get happy the minute you walk out the door, and you might not get all the way happy through your walk, but you're moving away from that. There's a difference in you know happiness is a choice in that scenario, and kind of the big overall life unhappiness is whether maybe you're unhappy with your career, and you figure out
which are
you know
bigger changes.
yes, you got to make a change, and
Well,
that's a different level.
we're talking about smaller increments, smaller habits is what we're really focused on right now, right? I mean,
Yes,
whether you got to change your significant other, you got to change your job, you got to change that's bigger. That's bigger fish
yes,
to fry. But what incremental steps, what habits, what self care can we do to get to a more positive mindset? Because happiness isn't, I'm going to be happy right now. I'm sick of being crappy today. I'm going to be happy. It's just like you said, that's not a switch. I wish there was
Yeah.
that big Staples button that could be like, I'm going to be happy now.
And even if you do decide, hey, I'm going to start taking on some new self care things, that's great. And even in that case, it's going to kind of take a while for the cumulative effect of doing those things consistently and intentionally for it to just kind of like if you're someone who works out, you don't go in the gym the
Yeah.
very first day you ever worked out and your strength goes up 50%. It takes months and months and months. You feel better every time you go, and there's that part of it, but it's you know it's a journey, and it's even myself who's pretty darn religious with self care and who's in a pretty good place in my life generally. I've got to be on top of it all the time. That's why I'm there, because I do it so consistently and I do it so intentionally. I know when I'm riding to the gym that this thing is going to the this day added on top of many other days that I've done this thing at the gym improves my life. That's intention. The act of going every day is consistency. You got to do them both. But to me, self care works best when you're consistent and intentional. Those are the two kind of ways to me. Um, but yeah, even if you decide I'm gonna, I love pottery. I'm gonna go start taking a pottery class once a week. It might take a month or two for it to kind of really feel like the buildup of that cumulative thing. If you go once and then don't go again for another month, you're kind of not gaining anything. It's um, but here's another thought, Kathy. And I was thinking about this earlier today, and this is kind of along the lines of the big picture on happiness, because I think those of us, myself in this circumstance, um, I was unhappy for literally decades, and I although I did not realize the magnitude of my struggles and I did not recognize the magnitude of my unhappiness, I
Mhm.
always knew that my life was not quite what I wanted it to be. I always knew that, the very basic. But it took me getting kind of hitting rock bottom. They talk about rock bottom with addiction. This was kind of
Yeah.
rock bottom where I was like, I got, it was like the last straw. I got so fed up of being unhappy that was the motivator for me to say, okay, now what? And it took me years to begin to make some headway to try to attempt to get to neutral in the big neutral, not just in a day
Right.
neutral, yeah,
A
but
capital win.
the big
Not the little one.
all caps neutral, yeah. So yeah, we can go through vicious cycles of unhappiness, not really knowing the impact that it has. But I think we're all to some degree, we all realize that this life I'm in right now is just not what I want it to be for whatever reason. Um, don't wait. Don't wait. Just just don't
Well,
wait.
look at this. This article says, okay, so we, back to the 1800s, like psychology is my life, my career life. I started in psychology, moved into social work, not because I didn't love psychology, because I always loved the brain and psychology, but like I said in the beginning, we focused in our field on negative stuff. How do we fix that negative stuff? And we've taken more of a shift, thank God, to positive psychology. Like, what are the pleasures, comforts, gratitude, hope, and inspiration that can help us move forward, right? To flourish, to be happy. And some of us have some with personality. Some of us are stinkers at times. Like sometimes I've heard Marty will say, I wake up kind of naturally in a good spirit before my day gets trashed. Right. I wake up and I'm good, and then I'm like, God darn it. Marty said he wakes up the opposite, and he has to really work on his mindset to tame that genetic negative stuff that wants to bubble up and then
Yeah.
go for it. So we got to know that about ourselves. How do we wake up? Another article I read was saying how important it was in the morning to set your day up. Like, are we somebody that we set the alarm so we could get up to work? So we go from wake up to work. Like, do we need to give ourselves a little bit more time in the morning
A
for
buffer.
us to set the positivity before we go right into
Yeah.
the heavy stuff?
I have to do. I can't. I literally set my alarm clock, Kathy, almost 2 hours before I have to be to work.
So you already do that. That's great. I
Only,
don't.
be, only because I'm not generally. Although I've gotten much better as I've gotten older. I'm much more a night owl than I am a morning person. Nowadays, I have no problem waking up early for a while. And most days, I'm up before my alarm goes off. But it's funny, I forgot to mention this earlier when I did my check-in, but it fits what we're talking about now. Um, I've added something to my self-care checklist every morning. I do this, but I do it here. Well, I do it. You know how I go to work, and the first thing I do is I make my cup of tea. The very first thing I
Yeah,
do.
yeah, yeah. I
Now,
love it
as I'm waiting for my cup of tea to cool down so I can drink it, you know what I do?
because it's not hot tea anymore.
Yeah, it's burn your mouth tea at first. I just wait till it's tolerable.
All the men in my life, that's what they do too. Unlike it's not hot tea anymore, you guys. It's lukewarm tea, but whatever. Go ahead.
Um, I turn on music on my phone, specifically the song "Happy" by Pharrell.
Do you
Yep,
every day?
and I literally every day
Every
now. As I literally, I make my cup of tea, and I'm standing there. My cup of tea's on my desk, and of course, nobody usually comes into the office right first thing
I
it opens.
Okay. What time is Happy come on in your office? I'm gonna totally bust you.
No, I turn it on. It's probably between 8:30 and 9, somewhere in that window.
Okay. As much as I want to sit and see whatever, I also want to catch you doing the happy dance.
But now it's not uncommon for me to dance in the store to just whatever's playing on the radio. But I'm like, I need to like have this be part, and it's the whole.
I like it.
And it's funny. It's not the same dance. I'm freestyling, so it's just different dance every day. I'm
Wait.
making up stuff,
So
and
you got some moves now? You got some moves?
I don't know if they're good moves, but they're moves.
You ready to get on? What's that dancing show? You know all the shows, Jay. What is it? What's the dance?
Well, there's Dancing with the
Dancing with the
Stars.
Stars. There you go. I'm gonna
But
see
yeah,
you on Dancing.
I play that every morning, and I literally dance as I'm playing it.
Can you do the Thriller? Can you do? I want. I want to learn.
I can do the Carlton, but I can't do the Thriller.
I want to learn the Thriller. Okay.
Well, you just watch the 13 going on 30, and you can
I
see
know. I
that.
love that movie, and she loves Rick Springfield. It's a great thing. I need to learn the Thriller. Just saying. Can I throw out some fun facts?
Yep.
Current research and studies. Here's what we've learned. Ready? You're gonna be shocked. Money can buy happiness. Research says. Up to what amount do you think? And then it flattens off. It doesn't matter.
I think I saw a statistic somewhere about that. Like what amount of money?
It's, let me tell you,
Yeah.
$75,000. Isn't that random?
That actually is lower than I thought it would be.
Study says money can only buy happiness up to about 75,000. After that, it has no significant effect on our emotional well-being. Number 2, most of our happiness is not determined by our genetics,
That I agree with.
but by our experiences in our day-to-day life. 3, trying too hard to find happiness often has the opposite effect.
Yes. We've talked
lead us
about
to be
that.
selfish.
Getting into relationships thinking it's the be all. Yep. That we've talked about that.
Pursuing happiness through social means, like, I don't mean social media, finding happiness through social means like spending more time with family and friends is the most effective method to happiness. That's what research said. I didn't make it up. Oh God, this one. The pursuit of happiness is in one place where we should consider. Oh, I like this because I don't like this. SMART goals. You ever heard of SMART goals? It drives me crazy. My best. Specific, measurable, all that stuff. It may be more effective to pursue vague happiness than specific ones. So instead of, I'm not sure what vague is, but like, oh, if I did this, I'm going to be happy. And I'm going to measure it by this. It's saying, be vague. Maybe it's be spontaneous. I don't know. Helps being happy, helps us transition better into adulthood. Being happy leads to more career success. There's a relation between a religious involvement and happiness. I thought you might like that statistic.
Say that again.
There's a relationship between religious involvement and happiness.
Yeah.
Yeah, so those were those. Oh wait, and then here's the physical stuff. Happiness is linked to lower heart rate and blood pressure. Happiness can also act as a barrier between you and your germs. Happier people are less likely to get sick.
Yeah, because you're less inflamed. Yeah, that makes all the sense in the world.
People who are happier have less of the stress hormone cortisol.
Yep.
People who are happy experience fewer aches and pains, including heartburn.
Migraines too is a big one on that.
Happiness boosts your immune system. People that are happiest tend to live longer.
See, we've talked about all this before, Cathy, but what we did was switch happiness with stress and flip the arrow the other way. And we've said stress does the opposite of that.
Right, it does the opposite. Here's a funny one, right? You're going to laugh. Smelling floral scents like roses can make you happier.
That makes sense to me. Right? That's not funny. That makes sense. That's a nature thing.
Those who are paid by the hour may be happier than those on salary. Get out.
Yeah, that makes sense too. Because people on salary, Cathy, oftentimes are taken advantage of, and they have to work way more hours and not get paid anymore.
People that are happier tend to wear brighter colors. All right. Being outdoors makes us happier. Happiness is contagious.
Yeah.
You smile.
Surround yourself with good, positive people. We talked about that last week, yeah, or 2 weeks ago.
So those are the fun facts.
It's funny, as I'm sitting here, I'm thinking back to, was it the Gettysburg Address when Lincoln said, "Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness"?
Yeah. There was another quote in something I read that was by Lincoln. That's funny you said that.
All men are endowed with equal and unalienable rights, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Yes.
Yeah.
Remember, now realize it says, it doesn't say you have the right to be happy. It says you have the right to pursue happiness. And you have the choice to pursue happiness. That's what we're saying here. So, Lincoln knew back in the day.
Well, there was another Lincoln quote, but I can't find it right now. I can't find it. But anyway, Abe had it figured out.
That Gettysburg Address was pretty big time.
I didn't think we'd be talking about the Gettysburg Address today.
Yeah, it's just the same thing as Martin Luther King's civil rights speech in D.C. That one has some like big, not top-notch sayings in it.
So, I think at the end of the day, we're saying the same old things we say all the time.
Self-care.
What can you do? It comes back down to self-care again. So, happiness is, how can we rephrase that? Happiness is a choice. How can we rephrase that?
Here's what I say, Cathy. Here's a Jay Watson original.
Go ahead. I like him.
Is that we all of us, no matter who's listening to this, we all want to be happy. And I like to say that happiness, the road to happiness, is paved with self care.
I'm writing it down. And, but you have to practice it.
Yes.
You have to practice it. We can't sit there and wait for the happiness fairy to rain sprinkles over
Sprinkle
top
happy
of us.
dust. Yeah.
And Tinkerbell doesn't work that way. It's
We the choice to begin the road to happiness is completely ours.
choose the happiness path. There's no switch. There's no magic switch. There's no magic pill. There's no magic drink.
Choose to begin the path to happiness,
And the reality is,
which is paved with self care.
life has crappy things every day.
Yep.
But it's just it's glass half
We
full.
might get knocked off the pavement and onto the gravel road or the dirt road back in the woods somewhere for a little
And
bit.
you might fall in a hole.
Yep.
And there might be a critter in there. All these things could happen, but how do you flip anything? You just took a significant loss that happened to you and flipped it into gratitude. It's not always easy because some days you're like, God bless, I can't find anything good. I do it all the time. Some days I act totally miserable. Like, what else? Three things happen. Nothing else can happen to me, right? Because three things already happened. We all do that nonsense. But at the end of the day, I had a kid that wrecked a car. He crashed a freaking car. He totaled a car. And I'm complaining, like, great, now what are we going to do? But the other side of it, he's here. He's fine.
Yeah.
Where we just had a significant accident in the community where a child, lost his life. So I need to not be so worried about the inconveniences. Insurance going up. We don't have a car. I'm out of cars. And be grateful for that no one was harmed. But it's hard sometimes to make those shifts.
Yeah. And getting back to, it's a path, it's a journey. I used to tell my clients when I was doing personal training, give me 2 or 3 months. And they would say, why 2 or 3 months? I said, because that's about the time where you'll start seeing the results in the mirror. And once you start seeing the results yourself in the mirror, I don't have to convince you anymore. You're going to see it yourself, and you're going to be more likely to motivate yourself to continue down that path. Self care is the same way. Give yourself some time. It takes a little bit, but once you start seeing and feeling the positive impacts of doing those self care things consistently and with intention, once you get there, you're going to be like, oh, you're not going to have to motivate yourself to do it anymore. You're going to be your life. You'll feel it in your life, and it's going to kind of perpetuate itself.
Well, I'm sitting here thinking too, Jay. It's a balance of things, like, right? You got to get things off your chest. So you got to talk about the stuff that's bothering. There's that, right? You got to get it out.
Tell someone your pain. Yep.
But then there's also the positive stuff. So it's like, what's the balance? Like, I was reading this one article that some person was talking about somebody they had in therapy that was trying to be happier. And they said what they started doing, that this person said they started doing, is like, it felt like it. I guess this person had a girlfriend. Whenever he was with his girlfriend, he was like, "Oh my God, this happened to me today. Can you believe this?" Da da da. He said he tried to stop doing that as much, and I thought, well, sometimes you may need to do that to get it out. But anyway, when he was feeling so negative and it was a habit, then he says he just kind of stopped and then flipped the narrative. Like, how was your day? You look really nice today. Oh wow, that's awesome. And like trying to be very positive toward the other person and listening. And then he said he soon started to forget about all the complaints that he was going to gripe about to her to begin with. I'm not saying that that you should do that all the time, but that was just an interesting example, I thought. Like, we got to vent and get the junk out, but then how do we not just keep that negative train rolling down the highway? Not that the train goes down a highway, railway.
Yeah.
Railroad.
So before we switch gears and talk about what we were watching, I want to say something real quick that's tied to what we're talking about. I forgot to mention this earlier. I've been really fortunate and blessed enough to be able to, even through all my journey, to have been given the gift of expression. I've always been really good about expressing to people how I feel, expressing gratitude towards them if they've impacted my life in some kind of way. And I was able to do that with my friend who passed. So I just want to tell people out there, if there are folks in your life, even if they were only in your life for a season and they're no longer in your life, but they impacted you in some kind of positive way, let them know. Make sure they know, because you
Yeah,
never know if you will ever get a chance to do that. And um, it's just good all around. It kind of goes to what Cathy was saying. You need to express that stuff, but express the good too. You know, if someone is, if you've got a
important.
neighbor who is just always been just a really good neighbor, tell them that.
I agree.
Someone who maybe was only in your life for a few years, like my friend that passed, that unfortunately, she knew that. I was able to a long time ago to express that to her. So if there are those folks that it could have been a
Yeah.
college teacher or whoever it was that impacted your life, look them up, find them, and tell them that. Just you could be you telling them that could get them through a difficult time, or just get the make their day. And it just that's kind of what you know impacting and being impacted is kind of what we, at least I feel like, is kind of the deepest, most connective tissue of people that we have. So, you know,
And it can be any way. It doesn't have to be a long hour conversation. You
you
can
know,
send somebody
write
a
them a letter, or something, just to make sure
text,
they know.
Facebook Messenger, a old little note in
Yep.
the mail. Do we know what that is anymore? People know how to write a letter. Yeah, whatever. But everybody loves somebody to know somebody's thinking about them. Bruce Blake, our one of our classmates, he always says doing a buddy check, and I love that. I love a
Yeah.
buddy check because your friends are
It makes
thinking
you
about
feel like someone cares in that moment. Yeah.
you. Yeah, you're somebody's buddy. I think it's cool to be somebody's buddy. A buddy check is a good thing. Yeah, do it. Do it today. Do it once a week.
Yeah.
Buddy check.
But just do it, because
Just do
you
it.
might lose that opportunity, unfortunately. See,
Find good in people.
yeah. Let's switch real quick, Cathy, before we get out of here and talk about. I know you've been
I've been
watching
on a boat. I'm not
you've been
watching
watching
anything.
the waves go by and sunset, so you don't
I've
have.
watched. I've been. I've been stuck with Norwegian cruise line videos of watching tours. I have not watched real TV. Go ahead. It's all
So
you.
I did get to watch. I went and saw the newest Superman movie last week, and if you've been watching the podcast or on my social media, I absolutely raved about the trailer to this movie. And I have to say that although I would not consider this movie a flop, it was not a bad movie. It did not live up to the trailer. The trailer, the whole 3 minutes of that trailer, the music is fantastic for the whole 3 minutes. And because of that, and because of the scenes that they choose to mix in with the music, you feel you feel the whole 3 minutes. So the movie, I don't remember the music playing at all at any time. Like there probably was music on it, but it was, if there was, it had such little impact that I don't remember it
In the whole movie.
in the whole movie. And B, yes, the scenes that were in the trailer were in the movie, but they were so. In other words, when they made the trailer, they picked these random scenes, and the trailer was done perfectly. I raved about the trailer, but I connected with the trailer.
Well, you watched that 552
I
times.
did. It was so good.
Now, tell
And
me what I should do. Should I go back? I've watched the trailer once. Should I go back and watch the trailer and then
no,
watch the movie, or you want me to do it
nope,
backwards? You want me to do it
nope.
backwards?
Yeah,
I'll
don't
watch.
watch the trailer, because if you do, you're gonna instinctively compare the two, and
All
there's
right.
no comparison.
So I'm not going to do
Um,
it. I'm just going to go right to the movie.
and there was nothing. It was just a movie. It was decent. It, it was it was not this DC. The DC cinematic universe was in trouble, so they hired James Gunn, who did
Yeah.
the
He did
Guardians of the
the
Galaxy, to
Guardians.
take
Yeah.
over the whole DC world, and he directed this. And it's I'm not. Again, I've said this a million times. I've never read a comic book in my life, so there were characters that showed up that I knew nothing about.
Yeah.
Marvel was the same way, but
Yeah.
the difference is there were themes and topics within the superhero movies in Marvel that you could relate to, everyday things that they wove into the plots of these superhero movies, and it all culminated with the two Avengers, the two gigantic movies of the Avengers. There was nothing relatable. There was no topic. There was no meat on the bones in a from a nothing to relate to in that way. I will say this: what I thought was cool was, as I'm sitting there, Kathy, and I'm watching. I like to watch the people that come in and try to figure out what type of crowd is going to watch that movie. And because Superman as a character goes back to the 50s,
Yeah.
woo,
Bless you. Was that a sneeze?
thank you, that there were like families, like three generations families, like children, parents, and grandparents
Oh, in this
as a
movie?
group. Like that was like
Yeah.
the whole. That was like half the theater was that,
Huh.
and that's because that character is
Yeah.
generational. That's the old George Reeves, the old black and white
Is
show
it
that
is it similar to some of the other movies? Superman movies?
no, it's visually different. It's kind of it's you can tell a different director did it. And again, I'm not
So it
saying it was
doesn't
flop.
follow the storyline that we've seen in the past.
Yes, the basic general idea of how Superman got here. Yes, they cover
It
that.
does. Okay.
Yes, it just kind of there are, and we've all heard of the Justice League. Okay, well, apparently in the comic book lore, before this, the Justice League became the Justice League. Green Lantern wanted to call it the Justice Gang, so that in the movie it's called the Justice Gang, and
This movie.
that just kind of
This movie?
sounds. In this movie, it's called the Justice Gang.
Hmm.
It just, I don't know, it just has a negative connotation to it. Anyway, so it just, I don't know, it's just like a movie. It wasn't like it was like. Now I will say it's done great at the box office. The critics have really liked it.
Oh, really?
So apparently I'm in the minority.
All right. Well,
Um,
I'm gonna be the test. I'm gonna go see it tomorrow. I'm gonna tell
and,
you if you're
and
off
I will say
base.
this, and I like animals. Okay, but number one, because I've never read a comic book, I didn't realize that there was a super dog. Like,
I didn't know it was Super Dog.
yeah, his name is
Super
that's his
Dog.
name. That's how impactful.
Is it like Rex?
No, I forget his name. That's gonna bug me though.
Super Dog.
Number one, he got
Come
on my
on.
last damn nerve. This dog, he's misbehaves the whole time. He doesn't
Oh
listen
my
to
god.
anybody, and he was involved way too much. I keep wanting to say Astro that, but that's the Jetsons
I'll
dog.
find out the dog's name in Superman. Crypto.
Crypto, yep.
How'd
As
you
in,
forget that?
yeah, because as in Krypton, and it's not actually Superman's dog. It's Supergirl's dog. Superman is just babysitting for this dog.
Hey, look. They say it says it's based on James Gunn's real life dog. I guess he has an annoying
But the
dog.
character was in the comic books. Now the type of dog he might have used his type of dog as the basis for the yeah, but the
That's
dog played way too big a part. Um, it
Crypto.
just
Crypto the
the
dog.
whole I don't know the there wasn't enough. with Clark Kent and Lois together. I mean, there was a little bit, their relationship, but
I
not
can't
really.
wait to go now, Jay. Tomorrow, I just can't wait.
And I understand he was trying to be different enough to improve DC. I don't know. It just, and I think if the trailer had not been as good as it was, I probably would be
So
less
the
disappointed.
lesson learned from you: stop watching the trailers over and over again. I'm gonna have to
Well, it
get
wouldn't
more.
have
I'm
mattered
gonna
if
have
I
to get
saw
more
it.
snow
It
caps.
just.
You're gonna cause me to get more snow caps.
I've always had a complaint about the trailers when they play a trailer and then you get to the movie and you don't. There's nothing from the trailer in the movie.
Hey, wait, did the Stranger Things trailer come out yet?
If it did, I haven't seen it.
If it did, you would know.
Um, I've seen still pictures,
Yeah, me
but
too.
I don't. I've not seen a. And well, see, that's a streaming thing, so they're not as big on trailers as movies
Mm,
are.
mm, mm, mm.
There might be one. I've not
Although
seen it.
you gotta admit, for Stranger Things, the last one, when you heard um, the Journey song,
Yeah,
what is that? Separate Ways,
separate
right?
ways.
When they played
Now,
that with the trailer for, like, you were pumped up.
now what's the name of the Indiana town? What's it called?
In Stranger Things?
Yeah,
Oh,
it's something Indiana. But anyway, in the in the in
wait.
the
I gotta look
in
that
the
up.
in the still picture, it says the name of the town Falls. In other words, because that's the last we saw, the Earth was opening up and the upside
Hawkins.
Hawkins Falls. That's what it says on the poster. Because last we
Hawkins,
saw,
Hawkins, Indiana.
the big Earth was opening and the upside down world was starting to come up into the regular world.
I'm
Was
gonna
the
be
last we
no
saw.
good, man. No
Remember, it's three.
good.
It's three kind of
I
three
know.
sections.
So then we're done. Then after New Year's Eve, we're back to not having it again.
Now we will get only murders. I'm guessing September, so that's not far off.
We're gonna be jammed up. We're gonna be jammed up. Stranger Things, murders, and what else? Oh, Wicked. Wicked's
Yeah,
back.
that's Wicked and Stranger Things are right around the same time.
We're gonna have so much to talk about. It's just not even gonna be funny. Oh, and
Uh,
Lasso. When are we getting Lasso?
that's
26.
probably going to be next year because they just started doing stuff for that. So I would say probably next summer, maybe
Oh,
next fall.
we got some time.
Um, but
I don't know. I think we're going to be let down then in January. We're going to be out of hot stuff.
this coming week is I Know What You Did Last Summer, which is a remake, although it has characters from the original in
Right.
it.
Well, and I think about them in Scooby Doo,
Yeah,
right?
Freddie Prinze is one, and Jennifer Love Hewitt, who was not in.
Oh, wait, she wasn't in Scooby Doo?
Well, Freddie Prinze was, but not Jennifer Love Hewitt.
Wait, is that his girl in real life?
No, that must Sarah Michelle
Wait,
Gellar, Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Sarah Michelle Gellar.
she's not in this movie.
She was in Scooby Doo, I
Right, but
think.
she's not in this movie.
She's not.
All right,
Jennifer Love
well,
Hewitt
I just started a rumor.
but
So,
there's a younger group of
Trisha,
the girl from Outer Banks, the
uh,
main character girl. She's in it.
uh,
What's her
uh,
name?
oh, come on. Why did I go to my phone? Okay,
Kelsey Ballerini's boyfriend's girlfriend on the
my
show.
ex-girlfriend.
Oh, they're not together anymore.
Kelsey Ballerini's with John B, but the other
No,
girl,
yeah, but John B's girlfriend on the show. What's her name?
Sarah Cameron,
She's in it. What's her real name though?
Madeline Klein,
Yeah, she's in this.
is JJ in something? Different show. JJ, the blonde in Outer Banks.
I don't know. I only remember I didn't like it after the first season.
I
I
think
didn't.
it's all right. Listen, Jay, that's disturbing. You need to go back and give it a chance.
I tried. I watched 4 episodes, Kathy. It's not the same.
Listen, I hung in with murders until I caught the fever. I just think that you need to catch the fever.
You just don't have the flair for referrals that I do.
You're killing me. Killing me.
Oh, there's another one. I don't think you watched this though. It was called "The Summer I Turned Pretty." It's a lot like Outer Banks, very similar, like very very. It had although that character died.
The character
Yeah,
died.
it's coming back.
So wait, tell me if if I'm gonna go watch this, what you did last summer business. Do I need to go watch the old one?
Yeah, I think you do.
Now, is it gonna scare me? I don't like it. I don't listen.
It's very similar to Scream, but it's not as
I
weird.
don't want to be scared.
I mean, it's about a serial killer, so it's
Oh
scary
my
like that,
god.
not like haunted scary like that. Like
Yeah, but I don't want to go outside at night and be like, what's happening?
it's about a
What?
fisherman
Man,
that's
I
killing
don't know.
people.
I don't know. I'm scared. I don't know if I'm gonna do it.
And well, no, it's these kids that
I don't know if I can
something
handle it.
happens in that they cover up a murder, but then somebody else starts picking them off.
Oh my god. You might have to tell me about it. I might not be able to handle it.
But the only two that survived are Jennifer Love Hewitt and Freddie Prinze Jr.,
All right. I
who
heard
are in this one.
now Medea. I think is back. I want to see Medea.
I'm not really a Medea fan.
Medea makes me laugh because I want to be her. I want to be Medea. I want her to work.
Tyler Perry's getting sued.
Why?
There's somebody he worked with him in the past who's accusing him of sexual assault.
Hangers. Well, I like Medea, and I wish she worked a channel marker because she says what she thinks. But I thought that there was a new one lately. Go to Bahamas or something. I thought he put Medea to rest, but I think she's back.
I finished Love Island USA. Finished Sunday night.
Yeah.
It was not as good, and everybody says that. It check this out. The number one most watched thing on streaming right now, with like 3 billion plays, is
Is
Squid Games.
is what?
Squid Games on
I don't even know what
Netflix.
that is.
It's kind of a game show. I watched the first season was pretty good. The second season was so. This is the third season. Everybody says it. Everybody that's watched it says it sucks. With 3 billion people, or it's had 3 billion plays. Number
Wow.
two at 2.5 billion plays. Love Island USA.
Hmm. Now I watched something about streaming today on the Today Show, and they said Bluey is number one. That little creature, like little kid thing, and that
That's an Australian show.
Grey's Anatomy was second, and NCIS was third or something, and then Family Guy.
There must be some kind of specific category.
I don't know what category that one was, but I was like, huh. And then they were saying that
They must be for traditional series that are now on streaming,
oh
not
yeah, I
shows
got
that
you.
are not like Stranger
They're
Things.
not made for streaming. They're ones that have come back, I bet.
Yes,
But I was
that's
surprised.
probably the category.
I wasn't surprised at the NCIS, but the Grey's Anatomy. I
Well,
was like,
NCIS is like ridiculous. Like it's one of the longest running shows in history.
but Bluey, man, I don't know. I don't know Bluey. I
But
mean, I
when I
know.
saw the numbers for Love Island, and not that I'm surprised that it's doing so well, but 2.5 billion plays.
That's
Now, what I have learned, because it's very similar to analytics with a podcast, plays and people watching it are completely different. In other words, I could go watch Love Island for 10 minutes, turn it off, go eat dinner, come back to it. That's two
another play.
plays.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Now, I
got
know with podcasting on the podcast mediums, Spotify, Apple Podcast, Amazon, iHeartRadio, you have to play it for 1 minute for it to be counted as a play. On YouTube, it's only 30 seconds. If you do it 30 seconds, it counts as a play. So plays and people viewing are not the same number because most people don't sit down and watch all the way through
whole
once,
thing. Right.
especially on podcasts. Maybe on streaming they might do that, but
Right.
I normally take a break. I'll pause it and go do whatever, take a shower or do whatever and come back. So I will have counted for 2 plays, just myself. That's because when I first saw that 2.5 billion, I'm thinking, wait a minute, there's only 8 billion people on the earth, but one person could actually have 10 plays.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's kind of weird how all that works, but yeah. So yeah, but I want to really get with Chris next week when he comes on and see if he saw Superman and see what his thoughts are, and we'll talk to him about that. And a lot of other stuff. So
Sounds
that'll be
good.
good. He actually has not been on since February, so it's been a while since Chris has been on. So yeah, so all right, guys. Before we get out of here, don't forget Saturday, September 13th, from 8 to 12 at the Talbot County Community Center is the Eastern Shore Self Care Expo. There will be 40 local and not so local self care and wellness vendors that will be there. There'll be 3 food trucks, including an ice cream truck that will be out there also. So come out there, grab a snack, and come meet some of the folks and discover some of the folks that are doing some really cool and important things for self care in our community. And we will catch you next time on Eastern Shore Talk. Take care, guys.
Bye.